Hello friends, my name is Junie. I'll be studying with you this week, and we have a very nice lesson for this week. So may God help us that as we study, that He will show us which way to go so that we can remain faithful stewards. And then at the end, we want to hear God say, that we've been faithful, that we can enter the place where He has prepared for us. And so the title of this week's lesson, Financial Pyramids and Schemes. So there are some lessons there, and especially the time that we're living in is very applicable. People are being very creative in finding ways to, get a little extra or just change careers, or they've been laid off and they have to start all over. And then at the same time, there are many out there, they're just trying to lure people into these schemes and into these pyramids so that they can so they say that you will make a lot of money, but it's really a waste of your time and you can really get in a lot of trouble. So may God help us as we study our memory text this week, Proverbs 28 verse 20. It says, "A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent." And so we want to make sure that we remain faithful. The blessings will come. We just have to remain faithful. And many a times when we try to be too creative into making money, sometimes we find ourselves in a position where if we're not careful, we could be trapped right into Satan's snare. So we want to be careful always that we read the fine prints, and we want to make sure that God, is this your way? Is this a holy way? And that's what we need to do. In Patriarchs and Prophets, page 360, it says, "All the advantages which God has given are His means to throw ardor into the spirit, zeal into effort, and vigor into the carrying out of His holy will." So we want to make sure we're always following His lead. And let us remember, we are only managers of the means that God has given. And we want to make sure we follow the directions. And so let us go right into Sunday's lesson, Get Rich Quick. And again, as we open up social media, there's always something there. If you click, if you buy this, and if you buy their program, if you follow their program, you are guaranteed to make this amount of money. And so many of us that are trying to find a new direction, or those that are very desperate will click on these links, and then they will find out it's only a scheme. The way that they truly make those money, or they make any kind of gain, is by you clicking on, by you purchasing whatever it is that they're selling. So they're making the money by you purchasing that, not so much the information that's in the material, but it is more so of them buying. So we want to be careful. And question A, it says, what will be the result of participating in get rich quick schemes? So there's the result. We want to make sure we find out. In Proverbs 21 verse 5, it says, "The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plentiness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want." And so we can be diligent, but we want to be diligent in right doing. We don't want to just attain wealth, but we want to make sure that there's a balance. So you can still work hard, because God says in 6 days shalt thou labor. We want to work, but we want to make sure that the focus is not so much of attainment, of worldly attainment, but it's our salvation. We want to make sure that we have a secured place in heaven. If we allow Christ to lead us, then we are sure to have a place in heaven, because that's our final destination. So from Counsels on Stewardship, page 231 and 232, it says, "The spirit of gain getting, of making haste to be rich, of this all-absorbing worldliness is painfully contradictory to our faith and doctrines." So it is it is not just contradictory, but it is painfully contradictory to our faith. So whatever we do, we want to always bring in our faith. We want to make sure that we are not Christians just the day of worship. We are Christian throughout the day, throughout the week. And as we apply biblical principles, that we want to make sure we are doing God's will. We want to make sure that we're not caught up the all-absorbing worldliness. It will consume you. And so we want to make sure that we are very careful. We are diligent, but when we're diligent, we want to make sure that it is in a way that we are looking for our salvation, that our salvation is in mind, is considered. And question B, why does the Christian steward labor for eternal wealth instead of participating in get-rich-quick schemes? So, like I said, our focus should be our salvation. So when we work, our labor is for more eternal wealth, and not in so much of, I need to make $100,000 in 2 weeks or even 30 days, or, there are many careers. There are different people. Yes, they're making that, but many a times, not all, but many a times it is to the sacrifice of their family, the sacrifice of their spiritual life. And so in Psalms 37, verse 7, it says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass." So we are to rest in God, knowing that what we're doing, God approves. And what we are wanting after we've done our part, guess what? Sometimes we do have to wait for God to bring on the blessings, to bring on, especially when you've invested all the time that you need to. You've done all of your advertisement, if you own your own business, or if you're working, you've done every part, what they've asked you. Now, sometimes we have to wait. We have to ask the Lord to give us that, because sometimes we're wanting the answer so bad that we try to help God, and we don't need to help God. The only thing we need to help God in is giving our will to him. We need to submit to him, and once we do that, then he will do the rest. And sometimes, we just need to just wait a little bit. And so let's hear what the paragraph says. Testimonies for the Church, Volume 1, page 142. It says, "Satan watches the peculiar, selfish, covetous temperament of some who profess the truth, and he will tempt them by throwing prosperity in their path, offering them the riches of earth. He knows that if they do not overcome their natural temperament, they will stumble and fall by loving mammon, worshiping their idol." So he knows very well. Satan, he's an expert. We are no match for Satan. I always say that. We have to hide under the wings of the Almighty for his protection. And so we want to make sure. It says, Satan's object is often accomplished. The strong love of the world overcomes or swallows up the love of the truth. The kingdoms of the world are offered them, and they eagerly grasp their treasure and think they are wonderfully prospered. Satan triumphs because his plan has succeeded. They have given up the love of God for the love of the world. And so we know that we have to use money. We have to work. And so, but it should not consume us. There has to be a balance. And we want to make sure that as we are working, that we don't lose sight once again of our salvation or the salvation of our family. And so I want to encourage you and I to remain faithful stewards, that once that day comes, we want to be all cleared, because our treasure was laid into the treasure of heaven. So may God bless you. Please continue to worship with us, but continue to study with us. As we study together, we know and trust that God will be with us and we will remain in his will. This is my wish and my prayer.